Hey, how's it going? James here with my pickups of the summer 2020. There's, a little bit of stuff here, but, the way the planet is, there really wasn't that many opportunities. So instead of being able to do this on like a monthly basis, kind of just stashed it all away until now. Anyways, we'll get right on into it. The first one here, I'm not going to count it as a pickup because it was free. It was issued to me as broken, and that is a MacBook Pro. Now, before people are saying, oh, lucky you, blah, 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 this is nothing to be jealous of. It's pretty dinged up. I'm not sure if the camera can really show, but the lid's got some marks. The bottom is in even worse shape. It's got some heavy scratches, a couple of dents. Overall, it's seen its time in the sun. It's not pretty. And when this was made light to me that this was going to be tossed, I was like, normally I'm not that interested in that kind of stuff anymore. I just spent the entire summer getting rid of a bunch of parts and stuff from the basement. But like I said, family and friends, they know that I'm into this old kind of gear. And when this one was made a notice to me, I was like, well, you know what? The reason why I went with it is because the screen looked like it was intact. I'm like, okay, well, the screen's not smashed. There's a chance that there might be something usable here. So brought it home, and pretty much no life. Like, I mean, it showed that there's power going to it with the brick. That's pretty much it. So I replaced the RAM, and it sprang to life. Let's call it kind of. It was like almost unusable. Well, not almost. It really was unusable. So then I swapped out the hard drive, which I'm sure was just completely destroyed at that point too, with a spare SSD that I had floating in my parts bin, along with the RAM actually. So the total cost of this thing in terms of being serviced was free because it's all parts that I've gotten in the past from other units and giveaways and that kind of stuff. So pop that open here. See, it's fully functioning. What's even more shocking is the freaking battery actually holds a charge. This is like I think when I last booted into it, 2008 MacBook Pro. So it's like it's nothing to be jealous of by any means. It's like a Core 2 or something ridiculous. It's not even an i-series. So, it's a good little YouTube machine. A beater laptop that you can toss outside on the park bench and whatnot and do things like that. But if anything were to happen to this, I really wouldn't be upset because I'm into it for zero cash. And honestly, the resale value on this I can't imagine it being that great either. It's probably worth more in parts than it is as a working unit. But I thought that was an alright grab for free and about, let's call it about 3 hours of my time. It doesn't take that long to swap out the RAM and hard drive, obviously. It was getting the newer version of Mac OS on here. It's you have to do like almost like a Hackintosh style where when you boot this up, it'll come up with some scrolling text, almost like a Linux terminal, which fools this thing into thinking that it can run the newer OS. But I can get about 2 hours of battery life out of it on a full charge watching YouTube. I thought this was all right. Alrighty. I'm not big into Kickstarters, but this was a big enough draw for me. It's a 66 watt GAN or GAN. I'm not sure what the correct pronunciation of that specific terminology is here with in terms of the tech industry. USB-C charger. And with everything going USB-C, and I virtually had, well, not virtually, I did have 0 bricks that really supported it, so I thought this was worth it. It was around $50 when it was converted into Canadian dollars, and I'm pretty sure that included shipping. And this is supposed to be some sort of fancy smart charge behind it too, so that devices can get the proper juice that they need from a lower spec device on the, say, one port versus another port that needs a higher one. It's supposed to split the energy a little bit more efficiently. So I thought that was all right, especially for $50 for a pretty, what I'm going to say is hopefully a high quality travel charger. Super tiny, which is important when they advertise it as a travel charger, and the charging pins fold into it, which, I definitely would not have bought it if that wasn't a part of it. They expect me to throw something like this in my travel bag, and it don't do that, I would not be buying it. And it comes with a little cloth bag as well, so it doesn't scratch up any devices that you might pack this in. I thought, you know, for 50 bucks, that was okay, and I figured I'd get a bit of a price break on it when they, because when this goes to retail, I think it was going to go up by like 25 or 30% more, if not more than that. Alrighty, these next ones here are all from Value Village. Well, these four. Start them off here. Well, everything here was super cheap and complete, so I was like, you know what, for the price, I'm not gonna, I can't think that I'm going wrong. I think they're all $2.99 a piece unless I come across one that isn't. So for $3, Prism Light the Way on Nintendo DS. Completely mint. Looks like it was opened once and then never played again. Looks like it could have potential though as like a puzzler. Even if it's terrible, you know what? I'm into it for $3 complete. I could throw it on my vendor table for, I don't know, say $9 or $10 and easily recoup my money. Actually, when I was in the store, I looked up all four of these on the like one of those price charting style things. None of them are overly valuable, but they're all worth more than what I paid in USD, which means that I should easily be able to get a couple of bucks on top of that here on my vendor table in Canada when, you know, things actually get back to that point. Then we have Honeycomb Beat, again, $3. And not only is this complete, which is why I kind of had interest in it, but that little Hudson Bee. That's normally a good sign. Now, that doesn't mean everything that they've made is gold, but normally that's a pretty good sign. Hudson games are normally fairly decent. I've had that experience in the past. So, like, you know what? That was worth a try, and if I don't like it, again, just flip it for a couple of bucks. Next up, this is probably the king pickup of the whole video. Barbie as the Island Princess. You might be wondering why in the world did I go with something like this, besides the fact that it's complete and mint. We do an Extra Life charity stream every year, and I thought this would be kind of a neat idea for like a donation threshold. If I can hit a certain dollar amount as an incentive for people to donate, then this would be my punishment for the final part of the stream, like say the last half hour that I'm live, that kind of deal. Will be me suffering through this if the donations are of adequate value for my time on camera. Oh, making a mess. Alrighty, next we have Flushed Away. $3. I honestly don't know if this one's going to be any decent quality or not, but I'm like, for $3, even if it sucks, well, whatever, I'm not into it for that much. All of these are Switch, so we'll get on into those. These are all retail outlets, not Value Village. Used, Soldom. Little puzzler. Honestly, haven't tried it yet, but I think it was at, the receipt, $14. I'm like, okay, that's worth a try for $14. Then we have Shantae and the Seven Sirens. I've played pretty much the whole franchise now. I'm really enjoying it. And then this was advertised for limited run as a physical copy. Like, okay, I'm loving my physical copies. Kind of had to have it. A little expensive, unfortunately, when we get them out here, but hopefully I will enjoy this. But the Shantae series I've enjoyed so far. Then we have Super Mario 3D All-Stars. I tried Galaxy. I never played it before. Didn't love it. I'll probably still play through it, but I found it a little disorienting to start. Sunshine I haven't tried yet either. But Mario 64, I'm really disappointed they didn't do the widescreen treatment on that. That would have been awesome. Then we have the rehydrated SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom. I gave this an honest like 6 to 8 hours. It didn't hit with me. That's not to say it's a bad game. I'm sure people that grew up with this have massive nostalgia for it. I didn't love it though, surprisingly. So I might be vendoring that one off. Then we have Collection of Mana. This was on my hunt list for a while. I think it was either $19.99 or $24.99. It was in that price range. But this seems like a pretty decent grab. It's got the Game Boy one, which is Final Fantasy Adventure. Playing through that now. It's difficult as heck, but I'm enjoying it. Secret of Mana. And what really tipped the scale for me on wanting this was Trials of Mana, which is the first time that it's been officially localized in English. So I'm like, you know what? That's going to be pretty cool. And since I wasn't able to go anywhere this year with everything being shuttered, decided to treat myself with a little bit of the travel funds that we had set aside for a camera upgrade. Did I need this? No, this is definitely just a want. Alrighty, the GoPro Hero 9 Black. I have the Hero 8. It's awesome. I will be selling it to recoup hopefully a good chunk of the cost for this thing. But the main thing that really sold me on this, besides the front-facing selfie screen, which is a feature that is amazing that I really hope I enjoy on this. Surprised it wasn't on the cameras before, actually. But this has the, I think it's called like not time lapse, but time warp, which the other versions have had in the past. But when you go back into real time, there is no audio. This one here supports audio going in and out of those modes, or that mode itself. So I was like, you know what? I gotta do it. All right, now we will move on into the garage for the remainder of this pickup video. All right, hopefully there isn't too much echo here, but we'll try and get through this. An arcade machine, or another arcade machine. It's in pretty crappy shape, but it does work. So that's, and it was actually pretty cheap, not gonna lie to you. This was about as cheap as I was gonna get one, with the exception of it being free and in working condition. Gotta love that Ghetto Marquee V-Ball. That is definitely going to be replaced. I actually got the V-Ball game. I haven't even tried it yet, but individual said that it's absolutely terrible. You can see it's got quite a bit of screen burn. Shockingly, it doesn't look that bad when it's powered up. I will do a power up on this thing in another video where I kind of focus a little bit more directly on this cabinet. I don't want to run this video too long. I'm just gonna split it, kind of deal. But yeah, you can see it's got quite a bit of work. The screen bezel came apart from it. I'm gonna have to try and get that seated back in properly. These buttons are absolutely abysmal. They all need to come out. Joysticks are honestly kind of usable. That's kind of good. That's not high on my priority list. These buttons have got to come out for sure. Yeah, they don't even all match, but never mind the OCD on them, not matching. They're actually pretty terrible to play with. It's got some credits, or sorry, these are the starts. I've had the other machine that I got rid of. It had the credits on the front. That's where I was getting mixed up. Yeah, these are the start buttons. I'm guessing because this has been probably converted several times over its years, but that's not a problem. You can obviously just chuck in quarters, or you got the credit mechanisms here, so that's how I'll be adding credits for now. But it came with Double Dragon 2, which, that's a fairly, I wouldn't say it's super valuable, but it's a more pricier PCB. And then this is the volleyball game, which, like I said, I haven't even put it in yet, but I will at some point, but there's really no interest in that one. And what really tipped the scale for me on wanting this is this board here, which is Shinobi, which is one that I grew up with as a kid. It was in the little convenience store across the street from my mom's house. So it's got a bit of nostalgic roots for me. This is actually one of the first cabinets that I ever remember tossing a quarter into. You can see this here. It's been jerry-rigged from whatever standard this was. It's slipping my mind at the moment, to a JAMA harness. So this is JAMA capable, albeit it looks terrible, but nobody's going to see that when it's installed anyways. Now, granted, I'm told that this thing is pretty riddled with some cold solder joints, so it doesn't operate that well, if not at all. I actually haven't even plugged it in yet. That's going to be the next plan. Get this powered up, see what does and doesn't function, and if I can continue from there, I'm going to have to, see any of the solder points on this thing that are maybe corroded or just, you know, rotted off completely. Who knows? I mean, this is a board that's like 30-something years old, so it's anyone's guess what I'm getting into with this one, but hopefully it is revivable. Anyways, that is going to be my winter project right there. There's, like I said, quite a bit to go with here. Never mind the buttons and stuff and the joysticks. So, like I said, joysticks I might keep those for a little while. But if I'm going to tear this thing apart, I might as well do them at the same time too, maybe, depending on costs. But I'm going to have to replace the CPU for sure, get the monitor bezel put in there properly, get that out of there, purchase what I'm imagining will probably be a Shinobi marquee. But the side art's actually pretty cool on this. It's got Taito artwork, which obviously isn't Shinobi based. It would look much better as a Sega cabinet with Sega graphics, but that's all things that I can explore later on. But like I said, once I get this thing dragged into the house, then I'll do a future video on this in the future in terms of, you know, the upgrades and the replacement parts and all that kind of stuff. Anyways, that's about it. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Catch you next time.